Greetings everyone! I'm very happy to be here with you today. As some of you might already know, my name is Phil and I'm with Pragmatic Trading. Today is Monday, 2nd of October. Some say it's an Uptober. We will see, it's too early to say. So let's not jump to any conclusions. Let's see what had happened yesterday and what is happening today. And as always, I'm going to try my best and tell you what do I expect from this week. So if you're ready, let's get going. Let's buckle up. I usually start my videos by showing you what did I say in my previous video, so it will not take a lot of time. I will just play a few seconds of two of my videos that I made last week. So let's get going. The first video is the post FOMC update. It was published on, let me see, it was published 4 days ago. So I'm gonna play it and I beg you to listen to what I had to say carefully. Alrighty. The first thing I want to see, if I want to see higher targets, is Bitcoin reclaiming these trend lines on both log and non-log charts. You see, when I switch them, targets become different, right? So that should happen first. Second, this value area high of the range needs to be reclaimed as support somehow, if we want to talk about the higher targets. And we need to reclaim certain levels. If we assume, we cannot know, if we assume this is the bottom, we need to reclaim the golden pocket, right? And we need to reclaim this fib level here. Alrighty, so before I move on to the next video, pay close attention to the targets I published here. So those targets are 26.915 and 26.964, 26,964. Now let's play the second weekly analysis that I published, let me see, 2 days ago, so it was a little bit before the weekend. I think it was on Friday if I'm not wrong. So let's see what did I have to say here before we continue with this weekly update. I hope you enjoy it. Let's play it. I see two things happening. I see this trend line being confirmed as support, maybe a wick below, and us moving higher towards the 28k and towards these highs to the left, right? We have this candle close here and we have this one here. Let me just turn off these so you don't get confused. So this is the first scenario. It's pretty clear. You don't have to be a professional or anything to say, okay, this could happen. So this is the first scenario that I see. The second scenario, which is equally important, is alrighty. So I will not take more of your time. The second scenario was Bitcoin deviating above the trend lines and going back into the range. As we all know by now, the second scenario did not play out, but the first scenario, which was more likely, did. Okay? So that is all I wanted to show you. So before I jump on to the charts, I want to show you one more thing before we move on. So this post of mine, I posted it yesterday at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So let's see what did I have to say. Crypto Twitter and Discord servers are full of people claiming we go to 30k or 20k. So this is a highly emotional environment and these patterns appear on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. What can go wrong? Well, everything can and will go wrong, just like always in crypto. Just sit back and watch. Weekly analysis incoming tomorrow or now. So what did I show here? When you look at these two pictures, you see Bitcoin 4-hour chart, Ethereum 4-hour chart. So now I'm gonna be pretty honest with you. When you look at the RSI, what do you see? You see the lower highs and the higher highs in the price action. Same with Ethereum, right? Lower highs in the RSI, higher highs in the price action. What is that? That is a triple bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart. What is a regular bearish divergence? Well, it is a possibility, I am emphasizing the word possibility, of price reversing or an asset reversing from that point. I have stated many times, and you can see that in my previous video, that divergence is very useful as long as you know how to use it. So you have two scenarios. Divergence plays out, you are in a short, price goes down, an asset goes down, the divergence played out. You have the second scenario where the divergence does not play out, and the price breaks the highs, an asset breaks the highs, and it keeps going up. This is very useful because you can easily use the validation or the invalidation of the divergence to know or to assume where an asset will go next. What is this shape? Well, when you look at it, both on ETH and Bitcoin, you will realize this could be one, a rising wedge with a triple bearish divergence, or it can be a triangle in price action, right? An ascending triangle, which is a bullish continuation pattern, shape, whatever. So it's all about perception, my dear friends. It's all about how you perceive the market, and this is why I always talked, and this is why I will always talk in the future, that we have two scenarios, up and down. In my opinion, which is not something that you should rely on, but in my opinion and in my experience, I know that both scenarios can play out at any time, so ideally you should be prepared for both scenarios. So I don't want to lose more time looking at what had happened yesterday, what did I post, what did I say. This is more than enough. Now let's come back to the future, or let's come back to the present. I want to play some music in the background if that doesn't bother you. So let's turn down the volume and let's play some jazz. Why not? Let me just turn down the volume a little bit. Okay. So guys, welcome to another update once again. I hope you will find some value in this video, and I hope I will help you to realize what's happening on the markets. So first, I have this vertical line here for a reason. On 17th of March, we have entered this range and we have broken these highs here. So it was a resistance, and this is a point of a breakout. If we look to the right, we will see that we have retested this zone once. Okay, we had a nice little rise here of 27%, and on 11th of September we have retested the same level again, and we are experiencing a bounce right now. Currently it's sitting on 14% from that point. So why am I showing you this? Well, I consider this a range. I just told you like a minute ago, when you navigate the markets, it's all about perceiving, it's all about perception, it's all about what you see. So I will use a regular rectangle and I will say, okay, this is the range that we are in, right, from this low to this high. So where are we right now? Let's work with what we have. We are in the middle of this range. If you assume we will break the range to the upside, oops, I'm sorry, or if you assume we will break this range to the downside, that is pure speculation. In my opinion, that it's too early to say. Okay, it's too early to say. So let's see what else do we have. Okay, I will make this rectangle a little bit more transparent so we can see better, like this. So let's open the object tree and let's see what do I have. So you remember the good old anchored volume profile of this range here. What had happened? In one of my previous videos I said one of the things I want to see if we want to see Bitcoin moving higher is the reclaim. Let me show you the reclaim of these descending trend lines. Did that happen? Yes. Well, we had a breakout on 28th of September. On 29th of September we went back down to confirm the trend lines and then shoot higher. So that played out perfectly, and I'm happy about it. The second thing that needed to happen for us to move up was the reclaim of this value area high. You see it here and you see it here. Did that happen? Did that play out? Yes, it played out perfectly. So whatever you want to see in the future, or let me rephrase it, I don't want to use the words want, have to, need to, etc. So if you have a scenario that can or might play out, you need to have certain confirmations. My confirmations were these two and the reclaim of 61.8% fib retracement or golden pocket. That happened. And what is nice about trading? Well, FOMO do not exist. Okay? Does not exist. Fear of missing out, I mean, the fear exists as a fear itself, but missing out doesn't exist on the market. Why? Well, I'm gonna show you. I've had these bouncing spots, right? If you want to see how did I get these fib extensions and retracements, I suggest you to watch my previous videos. They're not long and I've explained in details how did I get them. So let's turn off this rectangle for now. So I gave you this target. This target was pretty clear. I took a long. I closed my long here. I am not regretting it because I took profits. Even though my short got stop lost here, I don't care. I'm in a winning streak and my prediction was right. So even though you didn't enter your long here, if you were patient enough, you could wait for this breakout and this retest to happen. So ideally that was the second place to enter a long. This was the first place to enter a long. Where was the third place? Well, you've had this value area high, right? You could enter along here with the stop losses a little bit below or even below the trend lines if you like your stop losses to be a little bit more wide, right? So this is textbook breakout, support confirmation, and a continuation, okay? It's a textbook thing. I don't need to talk about that anymore, so let's see what can happen in the future. Alrighty, so let's turn off these bouncing spots. Let's hide this anchored volume profile. The trend lines can stay here, okay? I hope they're not bothering you. So let's go back to the whole range. We said the range started here, so the first, I'm not sure if that's the first, but that's one of the things you can do, is to look at the volume profile of the whole range. Let's do that, and I'm pretty sure we will see something very interesting. Yes, just like I thought. So besides these levels here, we had the point of control of the whole range. So what did this asset, Bitcoin, do? It tried to reclaim point of control as support. It failed. It went below the value area low a few times. It accumulated at these levels. It shot up higher. It got rejected again, but only to create a higher low. So this is a low, this is a higher low, right? We had the daily bullish divergence here. I'm pretty sure some of you have seen that. Why? Well, higher lows, lower lows, right? It's being played out as we speak. So finally, what did Bitcoin do? What did an asset do? Well, it got rejected 2 more times. It reaccumulated below the point of control and finally shot higher. Now, what do we have here and what do I expect from Bitcoin this week? Well, many things can happen and it is impossible to cover every single scenario in this video. So usually by the textbook, when we have a breakout, what can happen? Well, price or an asset can continue shooting higher, or it can retrace to confirm some of the previous resistances as supports. So let's mark these levels, okay? These daily candle closes, and let's mark this level here, which was the last point of resistance. Let's turn off this anchored volume profile. We know that the point of control is between these horizontal trend lines. So let's take a look at the scenario number 1. It doesn't matter what is the number 1 or 2. There are 2 scenarios and the order does not matter. So let's turn on the retrace targets with the assumed local top. Why do I say assumed local top? Well, no one knows if an asset will make a new high today. If it does, I suggest you, as I suggest myself, to draw a new fib retracement, right? Why is that? Well, if this was the high and if we have a new high, the fib retracement will not look the same. So this is an assumed top. We don't know. This is an assumed local top. What do we have here? Well, in my analysis, in my trading style, I see this level, this fib level, as the first zone of confluence. It is very interesting. It is around 27.6. If we switch back from log to non-log chart, the difference will be minor, 27.120 and 27.6. 0.06, I'm sorry. So we said that the point of control of the whole range is at this level. So I'm saying this clearly: if Bitcoin, if an asset goes down, if it starts a retrace, I would expect this zone to be a solid support. This is where I might try along for the continuation of another leg up. So this is a very relevant zone. I will draw a rectangle and I will leave it there. Okay, I will leave it there. Let's say from here, from this point, 26,950 to 27.2. I will hide this big rectangle because it bothers me a little bit. Okay, and let's make this rectangle a little bit less transparent, like this. So this is the first zone. I would expect some kind of a bounce or a place for a trace. What do we have lower? Well, if that bounce, if that potential bounce creates a lower high, I would expect us to revisit the trend line, confirm it again, and then shoot higher. Okay, that's one of the scenarios. Of course, no one knows what will happen. I repeat, your own job and responsibility is to be prepared for the most scenarios, the most potential scenarios. Okay, you shouldn't care if an asset goes up and down as long as you have a plan and as long as you follow your plan. So we have this fib level here. We have this structural retest. Why do I say structural? Well, this was a resistance, right? Of course, and the price, an asset, can confirm that resistance, previous resistance as support, and shoot higher. There's another scenario within this scenario, which is if we don't go there at all and we just confirm these previous resistance highs as support at this first fib level and then shoot higher, right? If that happens, cool. You can also trade that zone if you find enough confluence and if you are confident in your plan. If this happens, this will show that this move up was strong enough to sustain and to move Bitcoin towards the 29k and very possibly 30k, which is the most important psychological level in the history of this asset, if you ask me. So I'll draw another rectangle there because why not? Let's leave it as a possibility. I'm just showing you what I see. Okay, let's switch to the non-log chart. Yeah, it goes like this. So that is the scenario number 1 and 1.5. Retrace continuation. Now, what if? Okay, what if Bitcoin or this asset does not retrace from here? What if it continues higher? Well, you should have a plan, right? If it continues higher, you would ideally want to know where can it go higher and what are the levels that could be a strong resistance where you could take profits from your long or simply enter a head short, etc. Your trading is your own responsibility. I repeat, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you what I see and what I expect from the market. So let me see something. Okay, this is interesting. We have the value area high of the whole range sitting at 29.2, very important level, one of the previous 2021 summer bottoms. and a level that has been producing very strong downward and upward moves, right? You see, this is where the FTX crash started, if I'm not wrong, or it was here. It doesn't matter. I'm not a fan of fundamentals. I do follow fundamentals, but I am primarily a technical analyst. So 29.2, we have the value area high. Let's turn this retrace targets off, okay? And let's turn on the smaller fib retracement. So from this high to this low, we see that we are currently fighting, Bitcoin is fighting with the golden pocket of that smaller range. Currently it's getting rejected, but if it doesn't go much lower, if it consolidates here, I would expect us to break above. Let's turn that off, or let's leave it here, and let's turn on the fib retracement of the whole range from this very top here, 31.9, to the current local bottom. Now I see something very interesting here. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen from time to time. So when two fib levels meet at the same place, I expect that place to be a hard area to break. And that is 28.9, or let's say 29k. So first, what would I like to do is to mark these levels right here, like this, value area high and the level below, as a potential resistance, which could produce a nice little move towards the downside, maybe something like this, right? And then we enter a retrace. What do we have above? Well, we have something that's very interesting. Let me see. This is the 90%. Okay, 90% of this small retrace is sitting at the same place as this level here. So I would expect us to see a reaction at that level above. So let me place a little rectangle. I don't have a lot of confidence in this level. Why? Well, 29.6, 30k is a psychological level, so if we get there, I would expect us to get to 30k, only because it's the most important psychological level. Besides these two things, we also have a trend-based fib extension. What did I do here? Well, I measured the potential of this wave here. So bottom, relevant, significant bottom, significant high, significant bottom. And I am measuring the potential of this wave. What is interesting about it? Well, we have reached this white line here. I will turn off this fib retracement so you can see it clearer. Usually this fib level of the fib extension is the place where people take profits. So this initial rejection and reaction could be longs closing their positions partially or fully. So that's why we have this initial reaction. We see that Bitcoin wicked a little bit above, which is okay, on the log chart, and now we are having a reaction. So in case we don't have a retrace, my second scenario, let me be clear, in case we don't have a retrace towards these highs or the levels below that I've shown you 5 minutes ago, if we continue, I would expect us to get pretty quickly to the value area high. Now, before I finish this video, I want to show you one more thing, because I've shown you that in my previous videos, and I think it's very, very useful. It's one of the most useful tools in my opinions. As I stated many times before, every tool is useful as long as you know how to use it. So let me turn these off. I will leave them on my chart so we can take a look at them, let's say in a few days when something new happens. So let's take a look at the pitchforks. First, let's take a look at this local pitchfork here. What is very interesting about it? Well, guys, I told you that the bottom of the pitchfork is a good place to long and the top of the pitchfork is a good place to short, unless an asset wants to break above or break below the pitchfork. What did happen here, or what had happened here? I'm sorry for my awful grammar, but I'm pretty sure you can understand me, especially if you're coming from a English native speaking country. So what did happen here? Well, we broke the top of the pitchfork, and look at this wick. we confirmed the top of the pitchfork, right? We confirmed it as support and continued higher. What else do we have? Well, let's take a look at these levels here. Give me a second, I'm pretty sorry. This updated training view does not let me move faster. So let's say that these lines, the golden pocket and this fib level here, were resistance, 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 and look wonder, if you are a breakout trader, if you thought, okay, this is a consolidation below the resistance, this one here, we could shoot higher. If you are a breakout trader, you could have easily placed your entry here, your stop loss below, and you could have catch the last leg up. Okay, so even though you missed your chances here and here and here and here, there's no missing out. The market will always present you a nice little opportunity for you to take profit, to jump on the train, and to catch the move up or down, right? And even though if you missed that big leg up, you could have easily said, aha, okay, we have broken above the top of the pitchfork. Ideally, we would come back, confirm it as support, the previous resistance, and shoot higher. Did that happen? Yes, you can see this wick. That's exactly what happened. I'm sorry for smiling, but I'm pretty amazed by the market. There's always something new to learn, or there's always something new to see. So to me, this is maybe the most interesting and difficult job ever, if you can call it job. I would rather call it a business. So that's one of the local pitchforks. The other one is the number 2. Well, you can see pretty much the same thing. This was resistance to the dollar, this was resistance, we consolidated below the resistance, and as soon as we broke it, we had a violent move up. In one of my previous videos, I told you, when an asset escapes the pitchfork, it continues to move in an even more violent manner, and that's exactly what's happening now. Let me see, what else do we have? Okay, we have this big pitchfork here. I wouldn't talk about it now. Okay, I want to end this video. This is more than enough for the first weekly analysis. I have shown you this pitchfork before. Let me turn back to the daily chart. And yes, this is a new pitchfork. I wouldn't talk about it. The only thing I would say about it is that the median line is very powerful, so usually an asset likes to dance around it before continuing the move or reversing the whole move. What is also interesting about it? Well, what did I say? Bottom of the pitchfork, especially if it is a bigger macro pitchfork, is a good place to long. So if you have longed here or bought, whatever, if you're an investor or a trader, that would be a very solid move up, right? From 24.8 to 28.4K, $4,400, right? So guys, what can I tell you? I really appreciate you taking your time to watch my videos. I'm trying my best to be very concise, to be very precise, to be very clear with what I'm saying, what I'm seeing, and what I'm showing you. So once again, thank you for listening to me. If you find any value, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on the notifications so you can see my updates. Please consider following me on Twitter, because sometimes when I don't make a video, I post my updates here. So if you want to be up to date with my analysis, with what I see, with what I expect, please consider liking, subscribing, or maybe sharing this with your friends or people you know that might find some value in it. What can I tell you? I wish you a peaceful and yet a successful week. I hope you had some fun listening to me, and I hope I'll see you very soon in a few days. Bye bye, guys. See you next time.